Today I'm going to show you how to set up acrylic partial denture. The equipments and materials that we need are pencil, wax knife, lacron, acrylic burr, stone burr, modeling wax, and you will be provided with acrylic tip. Before you do the setting up, check the articulator. Please make sure the centric lock are engaged. The position of incisal pin are at 0 degree, and please make sure the incisal pin touches the incisor table. Now I'm going to show you how to set up 1-1. Before I do the setting up, I'm going to remove the wax so that I can provide space to set up the tooth. Remove 1-1. And do the setting up according to the natural tip. As we see here, the incisal edge and the neck of the acrylic tip doesn't match the natural tip. So, we are supposed to trim the neck of the acrylic tip so that it can sit well on the ridge. I'm going to show you how to trim the tooth. Trim the palatal part of the tooth, and please make sure you don't over trim the neck and the cingulum of the tooth. Don't over trim the tooth. After trimming, please check back with the cast to make sure you don't over trim the tooth. As we see here, it is still not enough of trimming. And now I'm going to take back the tooth and trim again. Once the inclination, the level and the position of 1-1 matches the natural teeth, we can seal the tooth. And now I'm going to set 1, 2. And same concept applies to set 1, 2. When we set anterior teeth, it should form a smooth arch when viewed occlusally. And please make sure the incisor pin touches the incisor table. And now I'm going to show how to set lower anterior teeth. I'll start with 4-1. As usual, remove the wax. And now I'm going to try to set the tooth. As we see here, the space of vertical dimension is very limited. And for this lower arch, we are using light cure material as base plate. So, before trimming the teeth, you have to trim the base first. Remove the wax on the base. Use stone burr to trim the base. Don't worry if you have perforated the base plate while trimming. You only have to trim the neck area of the tooth. Please make sure you don't over-trim the base plate up to the lingual area. It will cause the lower base plate to break. Try to fit back for 1. If it doesn't sit well, you have to trim the palatal area of 4-1. As we see here, the teeth doesn't sit well and it doesn't follow the alignment of the natural teeth. Now I'm going to show you how to trim the lingual area of 4-1. And please make sure you don't over trim the neck and cingulum of 4-1. Use tungsten carbide to trim the tooth. And now, as we see, the teeth sits well and it follows the alignment of the natural teeth. Please make sure you follow the midline of the arch. Proceed to set 3-1 and same concept applies. As we see here, 3-1 is higher than the natural teeth. So, you have to trim the base plate and then followed by teeth. And now, please recheck when you set 4-1 and 3-1. Make sure it follows the midline of the arch. Then seal it with wax. Next, I'm going to set 3-1. And same procedure applies for 3-1. And now, this is a completed setting up for anterior tip. Please make sure the inclination, the level of incisal edge, the position of the teeth, and midline follows the natural tip. And also please make sure the overjet and overbite follows the natural tip. Now I'm going to show you how to set posterior tip. 4-6. Remove the wax and then try to fit the tooth, and if it doesn't sit well and it doesn't follow the natural teeth, trim the base plate. Use stone burr to trim the base plate. As we see here, the neck of 4-6 is slightly higher. I'm going to trim this particular area. After setting 4-6, please make sure it's on the ridge and also the occlusal surface follows the natural tip. Occlude the upper arch and check the bite. And as we see here, there's a bit of raised bite. When you see dark spots on the occlusal surface, use round burr to trim it. Just trim a little on the surface. After trimming the occlusal surface, please check back the incisal pin whether it touches the incisal table or not. If there is a bit of space, you need to check back the occlusion with the articulating paper again. And now, 4-6 is at centric occlusion. It has reached maximum intercuspation and there's no high bite. Same procedure applies to set 3-6 and 3-7. And now, this is a completed setting up for partial denture, anterior and posterior tip. Please make sure the alignment of anterior tip follows the natural tip and the posterior tip are on the ridge. After completing the setting up, please make sure the incisal pin touches the incisal table.